Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to a wild trade, a wild Woj bomb that came down for the Toronto Raptors this afternoon. The trade deadline's still going as of recording, so we apologize if more trades get breaking down. We'll see and we'll speculate on things, but we're making this video here now as Ryker and I got some time in between work. But this is a wild one. We'll dive straight into this because Ryker, the Toronto Raptors have sent Goron Dragic to the San Antonio Spurs in return for Thaddeus Young, Drew Eubanks, and a 2022 second round pick via the Pistons. We also sent away a 2022 first round pick that is protected for the Toronto Raptors if it lands between 1 and 14. Right, 1 and 14, it remains with the Raptors. If we place better than that, then it goes to the San Antonio Spurs. I've seen a lot of polarizing reactions to this one. Ryker, you're disappointed. I'm playing the balloons that we were able to finesse. Please send away Dragic. I'm happy with this. What are your initial reactions to this trade right here?
I'm not disappointed. I'm extremely frustrated. I've had an hour to stew on this, and I get more worked up the longer I think about it, Ben. Not only did we say we're going to be buyers this free agency, not only did Bobby Webster come on a presser and say that we're going to make big moves, not only were we linked to really promising young talent like Nerlens Noel plus Taylor Horton-Tucker or Yusuf Nurkic, obviously not young talent, but a veteran scorer off the bench or a slew of 7-footers. But instead, we give away Goran Dragic and a first for also an expiring contract of 33-year-old Thaddeus Young, who's also 6'8", plays the exact same position as Boucher and Achua, can't shoot threes, and only plays 14 minutes per game off the bench in San Antonio. I'm devastated that this was the trade. I'm hoping that it'll be the same as my reaction to Gary Trent Jr. and that we're going to get some good come of this. I'll eat my words. I don't mind if that happens, but the initial view of it, I'm pretty horrified that this was the trade. Of all of the speculation that went around, this was the one that we made.
While I'd agree that the Taylor Horton-Tucker, Nerlens Noel got me excited, got me juiced this morning, and this is definitely a letdown from that one, I am, out of all the other ones we sort of speculated with Goron Dragic, with maybe the exception of a Miles Turner one that was a while back, which kind of got written off following the Domantas Sabonis package that went to Sacramento. This is a deal that I am happy with. It's better than Gallinari. It's better than overpaying for Evan Fournier. I'm really excited with this potential package, Ryker. And I get what you're saying, right? Obviously, I've been drumming up the propaganda all year about Precious Achua. He plays a similar position there. Chris Boucher has obviously been a beast as of late. But the Toronto Raptors needed someone reliable that they could bring off the bench. I think we proved we could guard centers. We could do all these sorts of things. It wasn't a big necessity to get one of those guys. However, Thaddeus Young, for all the things you mentioned, if you look at his stats this season, definitely a bit of a deflating situation. But look at what he did for the Chicago Bulls last year. He hasn't been played properly down there in San Antonio, but last season he was averaging 12 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal per game. Not the greatest three-point shooter by any means, but he is a remarkable defender, remarkable mid-range shooter. He's versatile. He will be able to come in and get minutes on this Toronto Raptors team, and that's what we need. We currently need, I've been saying it over the past little while, we need someone that can come in and take the load, the minutes pressure off of our main guys who are playing 40, 50 minutes a night, it feels like, night in, night out, and Thaddeus Young can do that. We've played positionless basketball. He'll be able to be slotted in there in big games as well, right? Because there's question marks about Precious and Delano, when it really hits the fan, when we really need someone going, Thaddeus Young will be playable. He will be able to get in minutes in those situations and give rest to Scotty, OG, Siakam. Now, I would like us to acquire another guard so we can have the same to be said about Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. But I'm happy that we got a guy that's playable, that's win now. For Dragic, who really, is an expiring contract, not playing at all, this is a nice return for Dragic.
Really, if we're not going to get a 7-foot center back, then we've already figured out how we're going to play team defense to stop bigs, right? Our team right now, as it exists, is holding their own on the defensive end. What we've brought in is another guy who's going to do the exact same thing as the bigs we already have coming off the bench. What further frustrates me is that Antonio is going to buy out Dragic immediately, and he's just going to get picked up on a minimum at Dallas, which is who we wanted to fleece in the first place. So they're going to go and get the benefit of picking this guy up on the cheap. Really, what the Raptors need is a scorer off the bench, i.e. a guy like Dragic. And what we brought back is a guy who's going to further complicate our rotation off the bench, which is really Birch, Boucher, Achua, and now Thaddeus Young, which is 4 guys that do the exact same thing out there. So, and he's only on he's on an expiring contract, which I guess is a blessing as well, because we're not going to have to hold on to this guy's big contract or something into the next year. So it does give us some cap flexibility. But just off the cuff, I'm thinking we still need that wing scorer, like you said, and we still really need a big 7-footer to match up against the Joel Embiids, unless we're just going to fully commit to playing super strong help defense, which I don't know. It's tough. I'm not in love with this trade.
Yeah, well, Thaddeus Young will help with the defensive glass. He can get out. The blessing about Thaddeus Young is he's one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. I know he's older. I know, he's not as spry as he may have been a couple years ago, but even in last season with the Chicago Bulls, he was really anchoring that defense. He was the only plus they really had on that squad, getting down there on the defensive end, and now we're bringing him in to come off the bench, be a versatile presence, and because it's positionless, maybe he still will be able to take minutes away from guys. And the underrated thing about Thaddeus Young as well, he's a phenomenal passer for a big man. His ability to play, off of players, it's Marc Gasol-esque. Obviously not the same level as prime Gasol was doing for us in championship runs, but you can throw the ball to Thaddeus Young in the high post, and he'll be able to hit cutters, see those guys, and fit seamlessly inside the Toronto Raptors offense. So I'm very excited to see how that's going to work as well. And you brought up the drafts pick situation, because I've seen that being one thing that, if we were live right now, we're hoping to go live once we get close to the trade deadline. We're like proper off of work, but we're playing this day or minute by minute here this afternoon. But I've seen a lot of golden kazoos, Riker, being thrown out for the draft pick being added in, a first-round pick. However, I would automatically say the Raptors, it incentivizes us to be better, right? Because our draft pick, it's, we might be comfortable being a 15th seed or whatever if we get that pick, but we're giving that up, right? Whatever range that's going to be, 15 through 22, but we're getting back a Detroit Pistons pick that's going to be about 30th or 32nd, right in between that range. So we're really only moving back 7-8 spots in the draft. The Raptors are always sniping people in that mid-round area, so I don't think that's a huge loss. Are you super frustrated with adding the pick? Because that's something I've seen a lot of people mad about.
I've heard too that picking somebody in the first round, there's a 3-year guaranteed contract, whereas if they're in the second round, it's non-guaranteed, so you actually end up saving yourself a bit of money. So that's not the part that I'm frustrated about either, especially from the money side of things, where we're only got one more season with Gary Trent Jr., and he might be looking for a max contract or something when because he's obviously going to decline his player option. And then Fred VanVleet's only got one more year after that, and then his player option, he'll probably want to decline. So it's not a bad idea to clear cap space, especially when, you're picking up, I don't know, like if we'll graze upon Drew Eubanks, who was part of this deal as well, but I'm not disappointed about Thaddeus Young being on a 1 year that we can just cut him if it doesn't pan out, and having a later draft pick, which we still end up doing pretty good things with, like Delano Banton. So the draft pick, I wasn't hurt about. Definitely not. Yeah,
for sure. It's the thing that I think has frustrated a lot of Raptors fans is we had that gold mine of a trade this morning that unfortunately didn't fall through. But I think it's cool with that. And you brought up Drew Eubanks, who shouldn't be overlooked in this package. Isn't anything crazy exciting. 5 points, 4 rebounds a game. He's not chiseled or anything crazy like that, but he's a pretty solid athlete, right? We've seen him go for some monster dunks at times. He's not a 3-point shooter. He's just a solid big guy that can play decent basketball. Do you have any strong opinions on Eubanks, or are we just going to learn more about him as he sort of comes into the rotation?
Yeah, I think we'll learn more about him. I thought that I remembered him doing or trying some crazy stuff against the Raptors when we played the Spurs, but that's about the extent of my knowledge, because I'm not really following San Antonio Spurs basketball this season.
Yep, no, for sure. So we don't have any strong opinions about Eubanks in either direction. Maybe Masai sees a golden gem and Drew Eubanks, which really got this trade going. Maybe he accidentally, I'm not sure if he's a European center, but maybe he mixed up Jakob Poeltl's name and picked Drew Eubanks from the San Antonio Spurs. But this is a wild trade. We're going to see what actually ends up happening with the Raptors' moves over the course of this day. Hopefully this evening, if not before the game tonight, Ryker and I will definitely do a full-out reaction to things that have happened on this trade deadline day. So subscribe to Raptors Digest if you haven't. Stay tuned, and we're plugging Javelin Sports. We'll add to that, add the Javelin stuff to an extra.
Whoa! I got a good segue for it.
Okay.
Bringing in Thad Young. He's apparently the defensive guy. We don't have a lot of time to integrate him with the chemistry. He needs to get out there, play some pickup, some scrim games with the Raptors, just like we can do now that the courts are open again. Ben, take it away.
Pickup basketball is back. We apologize. We're putting this at the end. This is essentially a free add-on for Javelin, but it's big. It's big time stuff, the Javelin Sports application, right? Because we're having our second Raptors Digest pickup session tomorrow night, likely officially getting booked. I'm talking to Joshy Ice today about it, but you can join our group. You can book facilities. You can meet people, whatever sport you want to be doing, basketball, volleyball, indoor soccer, weightlifting, find some friends, find some groups to play your favorite pickup sports, right? $10 off booking your first facility. The Playground Center, I forget what they're called across Ontario, but there's a bunch of facilities that you can just drop in and get a free drop-in session if you download the application. It helps us out big time. Ryker, I know you're ready to go for some pickup basketball once you're back in Ontario. Gotta download that Javelin Sports app.
Ready to play pickup, make friends, all that good stuff, Ben. Exciting day, polar opinions, like you said at the beginning, but hopefully this isn't the end of the trades for the Toronto Raptors. We still have a lot of deep bench guys that I'm sure we would be more than willing to flip into one player that might give us a little bit more veteran or talent off the bench. So, Ben, we'll keep everyone updated. Take it away. I don't know how you'd usually conclude these bad boys.
Well, guys, you guys are the best to make this far. Also, no one's claimed the hoodie yet. We don't know. I forget the name of Mans who won it last night. There's been so many winners. Uncle something. Did not claim it just yet. We have another live going tonight, so subscribe to the channel if you want this hoodie. Also, download the Javelin Sports app if you want better luck at winning the hoodie. But we got a lot of stuff. That's a lot of content coming over the next little while. So subscribe to the Raptors Digest for that. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. Anyways, enough of me rambling. Ryker, do you have any last words?
Cheers.